Alright, as you guys know, we don't normally do this where we take one segment and split it up into multiple parts while keeping it the same segment, but this became a little bit too long, so I decided to break it up a little bit. And that means we're going to pick up where Graham is picking his choice for the one to watch in 2013. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I agree with you guys, and you guys were talking about the Miz. I've been one of the biggest advocates of a Miz face turn for quite a while now, and I'm really glad they finally went through with the change back in November. And I'm hoping that he is involved in the world title picture by mid-year with Dolph Ziggler. I think that their match on Main Event a couple of weeks ago was absolutely fantastic. And if they had a program over the World Championship by midsummer this year, it would be fantastic, especially to elevate Dolph Ziggler with Miz being a former WWE champion. And you guys were talking about Wade Barrett before as well, and that was one of my other picks. With him being Intercontinental Champion at the moment, I don't see him being in the IC title picture for the rest of the year, maybe for the next couple of months, at least up until WrestleMania. But I can definitely see him being World Champion by the end of the year and finally feuding with Sheamus over the World Championship, in which could produce a great series of matches. So, yeah, Wade Barrett's my one to watch in 2013.
I disagree because the whole thing that sort of soured me on Barrett, he doesn't know who he is. It's like they give him all these little gimmicks. They try and play around with his character a little bit more. They've changed his finisher a couple of times as well. The matches he's had with Kofi have been good, but they haven't been that main event sort of stellar caliber matches.
Well, they're mid-card matches.
No, but the thing is, they're supposed to stand out. You can always tell from the guys who are going to be elevated from the mid-card to the main event and how they will react in the main event by the matches they have in the mid-card. That's not even upper mid-card level, the matches he has with Kingston. And for me, it just seems a lot more like Kingston was doing a lot more of the work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the momentum, it's sort of, his momentum goes from where he gets a huge push, then it gets stalled, then he gets a huge push again, and then it gets stalled.
Riddle me this.
Go for it.
Where was this huge push off of coming back from injury? They fed him jobbers and then started feeding him to Sheamus. And fed him to Randy Orton. Then they fed him to to this guy, then they fed him to that guy. They didn't give him any chance upon he got his like souvenir bull hammer fucking elbow. Yeah, use your elbow that you injured as a main finisher. It's like they want him to get injured again. There was no commitment upon his push. They hyped it up, and I thought they were actually going to do something with him. They didn't. They squandered his talent. He should have been at the WWE Championship level at the end of the Nexus angle 2 years ago. They didn't. They bumped him off for Punk to take over for the new Nexus, and then they shipped him to SmackDown, where you might have thought they'd actually do something with him. Then he led the core and did nothing but feud with Big Show for like 3 months, and then forgot all about him.
And that's exactly why. You can't be on the idea of them pushing Barrett, because every time that he's been in a position to, they've squandered it. So why should
the company is run by a xenophobic British hater.
Well, I'll tell you something, though.
I remember you saying that, Brendan.
Every time we come on here and we talk about Barrett, I have to bring up Regal and say, the reason this guy's not getting a push.
No.
To care about him is
Regal is a totally different animal. And the reason why Regal's push stalled was because he took steroids when he was in the middle of a WWE title push. Right, he was going to be the next guy to win the WWE Championship, then got himself suspended because he thought he wanted to make himself look more masculine than possible. That was Regal's fault. Every chance that William Regal had to redeem himself, he ended up fucking himself over. And I'm not blaming him. At the end of the day, I understand he went through a lot of problems, but that you can't compare him to a guy like Barrett. Barrett has got the ability to be a main eventer. The problem with Barrett is, the problem with Barrett is, I don't think he has the faith in himself to be that guy. And he keeps getting pushed and then stalled because he's only as good as his last match. So you'll have a terrific match with someone like, I don't know,
ring product
throw
only
a name in there,
half of it,
like
though.
Randy Orton. And then he'll end up getting shoved with someone like Ezekiel Jackson and bomb. Right?
Well, yeah, because that's the booking. That's not him. And his strength is promos.
The thing is,
where's his promo time? That's like cutting Sandow off of a mic. Like, I know he's pretty good in the ring, too, but these guys' strengths are their promos. They're not even giving him time to talk.
No, but the thing as well that pissed me off about Barrett is that they gave him a great situation. It's like the whole thing with him and the Nexus They should have allowed him to reach that level, but they didn't. They fed him to John Cena instead.
And Randy Orton.
Pushed him. And Randy Orton. They did push him, and that's the problem.
British.
It's not because he's British.
Yes, it is.
No,
I'm
it's totally not.
That Vince is a xenophobe. He's Irish, and he resents English people. That's why he doesn't push them. That's why he doesn't give them... There has not been an English world champion in that company's history since it started. And especially since Vince took over.
Now,
the reason is invalid.
Let me say this. By 2014, I probably will see Barrett as your next world champion. He'll win the Money in the Bank at some point, and he will be your next world champion.
He was going to win last year's Money in the Bank, but
then he got himself injured.
He got injured. Yeah, he hurt himself.
Yeah. Ziggler on his arm.
Well, I'll tell you something. One of the people I was thinking about picking was Wade Barrett, and it's because of this kind of a layout. This is what I think is going to happen. The next 3 months is going to be dead for Wade Barrett. Nothing is going to happen. You're not going to see him in any real big title matches with anybody excuse me, for the Intercontinental Championship. You're not going to see him in some upper mid-card feud at WrestleMania. You might not even see him in a singles match at WrestleMania. He might be in one of those... He
made the card.
Yeah, he might be in one of those, like...
half-ass tag matches or multi-man, whatever.
I think that after WrestleMania is when you're going to see that there's always that gap after WrestleMania when people leave and they build to the next pay-per-view of, which it's still Extreme Rules, unless they switched it around.
It is Extreme Rules.
They build to that based off of just what happened at WrestleMania. And then after that's when they start going, oh, fuck, we got to figure out who's actually, like, on our roster. Because there's no Undertaker, there's no Triple H, maybe no Lesnar, maybe no Rock. And that's going to be a situation where they're going to start looking for more people. And Wade Barrett is going to be... There's a group of about 5 people that they're going to really need to go and put a lot of emphasis on. And I think that those main people are The Miz, Alberto Del Rio, Wade Barrett, Dolph Ziggler, and one of the guys, I'm not too sure who, but somebody like Kane. But in the Barrett situation, Wade Barrett, I think, is still going to stall a little bit, and he's going to drop the IC title after WrestleMania, I think. If not some kind of a weird, stupid thing where he drops it, like, 2 weeks before WrestleMania and they have a rematch or some crap like that. They do that every once in a while. But it's after Barrett drops the IC title, that's when you really need to watch out for him, because he could very well be the next Money in the Bank winner. And he could... I think that the main thing is going to be, essentially what I'm getting the point at here, is Wade Barrett is going to have a very good 2013, but he's only going to have a very good 2013 this summer onward. Everything up until then, it's going to be minimal.
My God, you guys are way more optimistic than me.
I don't necessarily...
Tony, he's British. He's not going anywhere. God.
I will say this, right?
Exactly.
I will say this about
company's
Barrett.
not going anywhere.
No, I will say this about Barrett, right? Barrett will get that push eventually, but the reason he's not getting it at the moment is because there are guys in front of him that deserve it more than he does. And I know that's a cold, hard fact.
Wait a minute, who deserves it more than he does? He's been there for a while, so who?
Big Show deserves a world title at like 40 over Wade Barrett.
Let me explain. Right. No, but the Big Show was put in a position because Sheamus was basically failing at that position. But there are people who deserve it more than Barrett at this point in time. You know, you've got guys like, and I'm sorry to say, like Show, like Sheamus. You've got guys like Orton. You're going to have The Miz probably going into the world title picture. Ryback.
Right.
Wade Barrett's in a bit of a situation at the moment where, because he's not at that level yet, he won't be able to contest at that level. The world title picture is going to be amazing in 2013. I'm calling that now.
I hope so.
So is the WWE Championship picture. You're going to see the WWE building a lot of new talent up to be the next guy in the company, because of the fact that there are going to be a lot of guys who are going to end up leaving or going to part-time because they can't maintain themselves from the schedule. one of those guys is going to be John Cena. Yeah. Because he can't maintain the schedule. There's been rumours about his body, about his neck, about the fact that he's working hurt at the moment. Hence the reason why he hasn't been given the World Championship to put around his waist. You've got guys like Ziggler who've got to prove themselves in that ring, who've got to be the next world champion. Barrett will get the Money in the Bank contract eventually. Barrett will be your next world heavyweight champion eventually. But time will tell. If he stays healthy, doesn't get frustrated, and just keeps proving how good he is in that ring, he'll get there.
Well, Graham, do you think that he's going to win the championship, or do you think he's just going to have a good year, just like a standard good year?
No, yeah, I completely agree with everything with everything you guys just said in regards to the Money in the Bank contract in July. I strongly believe that he could very well be the next top candidate for the SmackDown Money in the Bank briefcase in July. But like you guys were just saying, I can't see him being world champion in the next couple of months because, as you were just saying, Tony, as regards to Dolph Ziggler, he's Mr. Money in the Bank right now. There is absolutely no chance in hell that Wade Barrett will be world champion before Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler will cash in. Then someone will beat him for it or whatever. Then Wade Barrett will cash in on that person. And then maybe he'll be world champion by the end of the year. We're going to have to wait and see. But, yeah, I could definitely see Wade Barrett be champion by either SummerSlam or onwards. I can't see him be a champion anytime before then, with Dolph Ziggler still waiting in the loom to cash in his briefcase. So, yeah, probably by the end of the year. If it's not the end of this year, then probably next year, because the guy's ready. As you guys were just saying before, he's got strong mic skills. He's great in the ring. And he's got the look. He's got a new gimmick overhaul and everything. He's ready to become world champion. If they did it tomorrow, he'd be perfect for it. But with, as you guys were just saying, with everyone in the top of the card right now, with Ziggler, Show, Sheamus, Orton, there's no way that he's going to be world champion within the next few months. So, yeah, by the end of the year at the very earliest.
I'm going to make a prediction right now. If it follows suit the way that I have been thinking that it's going to go, with Ryback winning the Royal Rumble, beating Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, I gotta, and that whole keeping it until Survivor Series kind of thing, the Dolph Ziggler thing is really kind of throwing me for a loop, because I can't see Dolph Ziggler cashing in on Ryback and beating him. I think that there's going to be something crazy with him.
I see that happening if Ryback wins the title and then he gets fucked up right after the match, like what happened to Big Show.
No, I see Ziggler beating Show for the title.
I think Ziggler's going to cash in for the WWE Championship. I think they're going to.
There's no way that contract can migrate over.
He can't. He's got a blue briefcase. He's got to
cash
in for the world title.
That contract is only.
I know what the story. I know what the storyline thing is, but this is WWE. You got to remember that they do anything that they want and change it on a whim if they want to.
But that would be so stupid. That would be so stupid.
There were 4 reports last year that said
also along with him too. So she's gonna probably do something to actually make it seem like that he can actually go for the WWE title. So they're gonna probably throw in some half-ass bullshit that AJ did. Then he'd be able to go for the WWE Championship instead.
Well, I will say this: if they do this, and they do put that briefcase for the WWE Championship, I'm going to be pissed.
It's going to tarnish the whole Money in the Bank thing to me.
Yeah.
Because
there were 4 different reports last year that said that they were considering having Ziggler face Cena or Punk last year for the WWE Championship with the briefcase. They don't care which show it's for. They will use it for whatever.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, but this is WWE. I mean, we've got the same people that have said.
The layout. They've done the layout at the pay-per-view, which was the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank.
They also every year
for that title.
They also every single year say that the Royal Rumble winner is going to challenge for the main event of WrestleMania.
Opens the show like 2 years in a row.
Right. So this is you can't trust what they say, and I think that there's a possibility they could do that and switch something up and make him challenge for something.
Truthfully, to me, the worst thing that they did was make Money in the Bank a pay-per-view itself, because
that
was the thing that I look. Thank you, because that was the thing that I look forward to at WrestleMania the most, was the Money in the Bank match, because that was the match that set the bar for the whole fucking show.
If you think of it this way, it's a bigger thing if they win the briefcase at WrestleMania, because it's like oh, I won this guarantee. Pretty much, I basically won the title because no one's ever lost it. Well, except Cena. But
right, yeah.
like, you win it at WrestleMania, and it's like, oh, it's the biggest show of the year, and I won the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Right.
It's like a bigger moment instead of having a pay-per-view based around it, like, and having two Money in the Bank matches too, which also takes away from having one.
Right.
Like, winning the Money in the Bank is bigger than having two Money in the Banks, and each show having its own. And
Get rid of Money in the Bank and turn it into the King of the Ring. Bring it the King of the Ring back, if anything. Do that. Bring that back.
They won't do that. They won't do that because the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, for them, it sets the tone for who's going to be the next main eventer.
Which is
whoever holds
those
those
concepts. I think it tarnishes building up stars at this point. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but you're talking about a company that doesn't know how to build up stars.
Well, fucking get rid of it and learn how. I mean, they were able to do it before they created the Money in the Bank.
Well,
like, they can't rely on it for
because
the next fucking 10 years to build people up.
SmackDown, they had Raw. They had a pool of talent, so you knew if this guy wasn't good enough to challenge on the A show, they could at least go to the B show and challenge for their title. They had a good situation going. They had a great idea and a great concept. But now they fucked with it. And they were considering at one point merging all the belts, which was a stupid idea.
Yes, it was. That was the worst idea ever when they merged all the belts together. That was the dumbest idea they ever did.
Well, I'm starting to think, though, if it does come down to... If you see Ryback as the champion, Dolph Ziggler doesn't have Money in the Bank anymore, and Wade Barrett has Money in the Bank, you're seeing Wade Barrett beat Ryback for the title at Survivor Series. Or right around it, or something like that.
Oh, God.
That would not be a bad idea given their NXT history.
If Wade Barrett
Graham?
beats Ryback, it wouldn't be clean.
It wouldn't be what? I couldn't hear you.
It wouldn't be a bad idea given their NXT history, you know? Because they were both a Nexus. I mean, obviously they wouldn't acknowledge that given, Ryback, Skip Sheffield, the whole gimmick change and whatever.
Right, exactly.
But even still, I mean, they've never worked together since their NXT days.
There's only one person. There's only one person who actually acknowledges the fact that Ryback was in the Nexus, and that was JBL. But that's because JBL likes fucking with everything.
JBL's great.
Alright, so we're going to split this up again, and we're going to go into a third part coming up where I'm going to do a recap and finish this off.